if you're a woman in your 40s, you're likely realizing that the things you've done in your 20s to lose weight just doesn't work anymore. You've heard it's probably hormonal, but at the same time, you've seen women out there who are in their 40s, in their 50s, still lose the weight and get the body you want. Well, I'm a weight loss coach. I've helped over 300 women lose weight. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do to lose weight after 40. Okay, first things first, we need to understand what is actually going on in your body, because most of the advice you're seeing out there skips this part and just tells you to move more and eat less. And if that worked, you obviously wouldn't be here. So let's talk about what's happening on the hormone side of things. We're going to start by talking about estrogen. Most women think of estrogen as the reproductive hormone. And yes, it is, but it also plays a massive role in how your body stores fat. It's also important for how you respond to insulin, how you sleep, and how your energy and mood holds up throughout the day. In your 20s and 30s, estrogen is relatively stable across your monthly cycle. Your body has a rhythm, it knows what to expect. However, after 40, and especially as you move into the perimenopause phase, that starts to break down. Estrogen's levels can swing up and down a lot more unpredictably. And one of the things that shifting estrogen does is change where your body stores fat. You may have noticed you used to hold a lot more fat in your legs and your hips, and now all of a sudden it's been stored around your belly, which is why I hear so many women over 40 tell me the same thing. I never used to store fat here and my waist has literally disappeared. That's completely normal, and it's just a hormonal shift in changing where your body stores the fat. The other major change is with progesterone. In a normal cycle, progesterone raises ovulation and keeps the estrogen in check. It also has calming and sleep promoting effects on the brain. And as you get older, progesterone tends to decline faster than estrogen does, which means that natural calming effect starts to disappear, which explains why most women feel that they're sleeping lighter. I've had clients say they wake up at 3 a.m. for absolutely no reason. They feel a bit more anxious in the evenings, and even if they do have a full night of good sleep, they still wake up tired. And here's why this matters for fat loss. Poor sleep firstly drives up ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, and drives down leptin, which is the other hormone responsible for keeping you full. So after a bad night's sleep, you're not only tired, but you're more biologically hungrier, and therefore way more likely to be drawn to highly calorie dense foods, which will obviously equate to more calories consumed, which is the last thing we want when it comes to fat loss. The next thing is, after 40, your muscle mass starts to decline around 1% a year. And again, why does this matter for fat loss? Well, muscle is very metabolically active, aka it burns a lot more calories with me just being sat here. It's also very important for how your body handles carbohydrates, and it also gives your body a bit of shape. When muscle quietly decreases and nothing replaces it, your metabolism will slow down. Your body composition shifts, and the same calorie intake that maintained you at 35 now means you're putting weight on at 45. Put all of this together and here's what you get. Hormones that are less stable, sleep that is worse off, a metabolism that's slowed down, and a body that is more stressed, less recovered, and way more reactive to everything. So when people tell you to use the same approach you've done when you're in your 20s and you're now 44, it's not because you've just let yourself go, it's because your body's internal environment has literally changed. Okay, so now we've got the understanding of why this is happening. I'm going to give you 5 things you can start doing this week to improve this. Number 1, stop undereating. The most common pattern I see in women over 40 who are trying to lose weight, they end up skipping breakfast or just replacing it with a coffee, skipping lunch. This is literally the worst thing you can do for fat loss, especially as more times than not, 7:30 will roll around and you'll be absolutely starving because you haven't eaten all day and end up devouring a share-sized bar of chocolate. You'll feel guilty, promise yourself you'll be stricter tomorrow, and just repeat the process. That evening discipline problem is not a discipline problem. It's the hunger debt your body's accumulated throughout the day, and then you're layering that on all the hormonal changes we talked about earlier, this disrupted sleep, the elevated stress, the elevated ghrelin buildup. You're basically setting yourself up to fail every single evening. So instead of skipping meals or fasting, have 3 proper structured meals starting in the morning. No skipping breakfast, no coffee as a substitute for food. I've done full videos on my page on how to structure your meals, but as a 40-50-year-old woman, the worst thing you can do is skip meals. Number 2, prioritize protein in every single meal. Given everything we've just covered, the muscle loss, the slower metabolism, the increased hunger, prioritizing protein is the most important thing you can do to your diet to counteract this. It protects your muscle mass while you're in a calorie deficit. It is the most satiating macronutrient, so it's going to keep you a lot fuller for longer and help fight off those cravings. And it takes the most amount of calories to break down compared to fats and carbs, which again is great news for fat loss. Every meal needs a solid protein source, whether that's chicken, turkey, fish, beef, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, tofu, whatever works for you, and try and get a whole hand size full of whatever the protein source is on the plate. Most of the women I do consults with, when we analyze what they're currently eating, aren't even eating half the amount of protein they actually need. Simply fixing this will make a massive difference. Number 3, stop cutting out carbohydrates. Carbohydrates aren't the reason you've put on fat. It's more to do with the hormonal shifts we talked about earlier on top of the calories. Now you understand the hormone picture, cutting out carbs actually makes those problems way worse. Carbohydrates help with serotonin production, which helps support your mood and sleep. That's why you sleep so much better when you've had a massive carb-heavy dinner. It helps replenish the glycogen after training so you recover better. And it's also important for your energy levels. More energy, more calories burned, plus it just makes it better to go out throughout the day when you've got more energy. So have them in your meals: rice, potato, oats, fruit, fibrous vegetables, and yes, it's fine to have bread. I wouldn't have too much in the morning for breakfast, as this will spike your insulin first thing, which isn't optimal. I'm not going to get into that now, but outside of that, lunch and dinner, try and aim for a good fist size full of carbs in your plate. And number 4, do the right workouts. Now that we know muscle loss is happening after 40, the fix is very obvious. You need to make sure the training you are doing is giving your body a stimulus to add lean muscle mass. And that is not going to be from killing yourself on the treadmill or the Stairmaster or doing Pilates or HIIT workouts. If anything, they're just going to raise cortisol, which is the last thing we want at the moment. What you want to be doing is 2 to 3 sessions of resistance-based progressive overload training a week. This will help maintain muscle mass and keep that metabolism high as your hormones start to change. If you want to get your waist back, you want to fit back on your clothes, you want to look good and feel firm, not just be lighter, that comes from losing weight whilst protecting your lean muscle mass. And this sort of training is the only way to do that. Do you need to train like an athlete or anything crazy like that, lifting stupid heavy weights? Absolutely not. But you need to be consistent and you need to be progressing. This is going to give your body the stimulus to adapt, and make sure you're doing the right exercises. Again, there's videos on my channel for that. And number 5, prioritize sleep and stress management. I know you're busy, I know there's not enough hours in the day, but from what we saw earlier, poor sleep affects your hunger hormones, it affects your decision making, it affects your recovery, and high cortisol from chronic stress and bad sleep will tell your body to hold on to more fat, especially around that midsection. You've probably heard of the phrase cortisol belly. So here are some ways to manage that. First, set a time for when you're going to finish work and actually stick to it. I know a couple of times a year you're going to have to work later, but don't make it a habit. It is so important if your health is your priority. 99% of the time, that email can wait until the morning. Outside of that, keep caffeine out in the afternoon and especially before bed. Don't have your phone in bed scrolling. Try and keep it out of the room. Bring in some outside walks. This will help with both sleep and stress. And if I had to pick one, try and set a bedtime and a wake up time and be consistent with that every single day, including weekends. Now, I know I've thrown a lot of information at you in this video, but the bottom line is your hormones have changed. Your sleep is affected, your muscle mass will be affected, and all those fad diets and tips you're seeing online might work for you in your 20s, maybe your 30s, but definitely not anymore. Your body biologically needs a different approach. But if you're a woman over 40, you work from home, you work a high pressure role, and you're thinking, I just need someone to put this all together for me. I don't have time to be trying to figure this out on my own. That's exactly what I do. I've helped over 300 women in your situation lose the weight and keep it off for good. I help them build systems around their lifestyle, around their calendar, and around their metabolism and hormones. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, there'll be a link in the description that explains exactly how it works and how you can apply. Outside of that, if you found the video helpful, make sure to subscribe to the page. And if you want to see a full journey of a woman in her 40s battling hormones, battling a broken metabolism, and still losing weight, make sure to watch this video next.